All right, everybody, welcome to our monthly Zoom with Lou session where we're here to answer all your questions because we know it's one thing to get trained in a modality, a procedure like Botox, fillers, lasers. It's another thing to go out there and get jobs, start businesses, make money, build a brand, find the right equipment, find the right injections, find the right marketing strategy. So our goal is to be a complementary resource for both people that have attended National Laser Institute and people that are checking out National Laser Institute, and just anybody who wants to join us who needs some marketing advice, because I guess everybody out there, including myself, would all be really, really thrilled if we could take whatever income we made in the last couple of months or the last year and double that or do 50% better. I don't think any of us would be against that. So we have some questions that people sent in previously, but I think Marissa is going to be monitoring the chat box because I can't see it on my cell phone. So feel free, you guys, any questions that you have for yourself personally that affect your world, you know, what you're struggling with, what you want to work on, anything at all, you can just start putting those in the chat box right now so they're front of mind, and then Marissa can answer those in a second. For those of you guys I haven't met, let's see, we got about 42 people online. For those of you guys I haven't met, my name is Louis Silverman. I'm the CEO and founder of National Laser Institute. We are the largest medical aesthetics training business in the world. I started this company 19 years ago in Scottsdale, Arizona. We train in Scottsdale, Dallas, Chicago, Vegas, Boston, New York, Hawaii, Nashville, California, you name it. And I live, eat, sleep, and breathe medical aesthetics. It's my passion. It's my baby. Even if I didn't get paid, I'd still do it. I wake up and I want to go to work, you guys. And people say to me sometimes, they go, Louis, you're such a workaholic. You're working like nights and weekends. And I say to them, I go, you know what? It's not that I have to do it. I get to work nights and weekends. I get to chase my passions and follow my dreams. And this is such a fun business and just ever evolving and changing. So nothing I love more. But for those guys I haven't met, my background in the entrepreneur world, I wasn't born a marketing guy. I wasn't born a business or sales guy. I was a psychology major in college, and I was a stockbroker selling some things on the phone for a couple of years, and I stumbled into the business world in 1997 when I decided to jump onto an internet venture. That was my first entrepreneurial venture. And I was just like a lot of you guys. I mean, with all due respect, I didn't know shit. I knew nothing at all about sales, marketing, business. Internet had come out in 1995. This is 1997. I go, oh, that seems like a cool thing. Let me see if I can put together a health and beauty website with 1,000 health and beauty products. And I did that. And I failed miserably in the first 4 months. So I hired a marketing consultant, paid him $500 to teach me how to grow my business. And he laughed at me and said, Louis, you can't play in the space of CVS, Walgreens, and drugstore.com unless you got millions of dollars. So I went out and I actually, after getting rejected 30 times from one of my investor software clients, on the 30th request, after a year of getting rejected, one of my investors loaned me $1 million to start this business online called Health Factor. And I was excited. Imagine you guys, if I was like, let's say I'm in a really good mood tonight, I'm gonna give everybody $1 million to kickstart their business. You'd be pumped, you'd be excited, right? And 19 years ago, that was probably like $2 million because, you know, the value of the dollar. So anyways, long story short, after 2.5 years, I burned through the $1 million. I burned through my personal savings myself and my ex-wife had of 70 grand. My biggest month in sales, I kid you not, don't laugh at me. And my biggest month in sales was $3,000 in 1 month after going through $1 million of just failing. But I didn't want to throw in the towel. Like my ex-wife said, Louis, screw this entrepreneur shit. Go get a real job, something stable and secure. We had a 2-year-old and 1 baby on the way, and kind of freaking out because our house was being foreclosed on. Our car was about to be repoed, and we couldn't pay the bills. I couldn't even feed the kids. I kid you not. Granted, my parents are pretty well off, but I'm just not the kind of guy who wants to go ask people for money to survive. So I got 2 other jobs. One was waiting on tables at a restaurant. The other one was selling some things on the phone. And I kept doing my internet thing as a side hustle. But I learned quickly in life that, you know, Einstein's definition of insanity, keep doing the same things in life, expect a different result, and you're freaking insane. So luckily, that stuck in my head. Louis, you got to do something different because what you're doing for a couple of years isn't working. So I changed my 1,000 product website to a 5-product website focusing on female things only, like, well, female specific things, weight loss, cellular reduction, skincare lines, hormone replacement, blah, blah, blah. Changed the name of the company to healthforher.com. And because I only had $300 in the bank, I couldn't market the company. I was like, I'm screwed. I mean, how the heck do you build a business with not a dime to your name, literally? But there was one way to market back then. It still exists today, called SEO, search engine optimization. Imagine if every single person that typed in best Botox provider, best laser technician, imagine if when somebody typed that in your city, you came up on the first page of Google for free, and people called you and emailed you and booked services with you. I learned that game called search engine optimization, and I still do it today. We still kick ass today. So this was before the day of pay-per-click Google was around. Now, if you type in best Botox injector in Sarasota, Florida, where I am right now, there'll be 3 listings at the top of Google that people pay to be there. Sponsored listings, you can do that too. The listings below that, okay, are the free ones. Google plays matchmaker. And if Marissa, who's online here, if Marissa says, okay, I'm searching for the best steakhouse in Brooklyn, well, she's probably vegan. So best broccoli house in Brooklyn, New York, basically, if on somebody's website it says we got the best broccoli, vegan house in New York, Google plays matchmaker, puts her website up the top, people call her, didn't cost her a dime. So I figured out that game and eventually became the 6th most visited health and beauty website in the United States of America. Then I stumbled into this crazy business because somebody set me up on a date with an esthetician 19 years ago. And she worked at the first med spa in the country. And I decided to open a med spa. I shifted education. And here we are 19 years later. So I tell you this story, not to brag, but to let you know that I sucked. I failed as much as anybody can fail. I got this money. I lost it. I was struggling. It was hard, but man, my best stories are the one I just told you. My best stories are the struggles and the failures I had and just me having to figure it out and bootstrap things and just test. So I'm a big believer, you guys, that anybody in the world, regardless of their background, you don't have to be a business or marketing or sales guy like me, regardless of your background, as long as you're hungry to learn and grow, as long as you're hungry to watch videos and read articles and talk to people like me who have done hundreds of millions in sales or whatever it is, as long as you're hungry to figure it out, you're going to figure it out. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of how long it's going to take you. But my goal, my mission is to help you get there faster. I don't want you to take as long as I took. I don't want you to take years and years and years and blowing all this money like I did. I wish I'd had somebody like me years ago that could have said, Louis, no, don't do this, try this. So that's what we're here for. We're here to be a resource to you guys and help you any way we can. So on that note, Marissa, why don't we start off with a couple of questions that people asked previously, and then we can get into any questions that people have either in the chat box or if they unmute themselves.
Yeah, I have a lot of pre-asked questions, but I'm definitely going to start with the people who are full access and support Louology members.
Sure.
So I'll start with, we have a question from Jo Ellen Anderson. She asked, suggestions for setting up a new business and navigating in a potential downturn in the economy.
Okay, so how do we make money in a recession? How do we make money? They say we're stepping into, you guys, the worst recession in 100 years. I've been reading that, lady. Every major corporation, not everyone, but 70% of the major corporations in the country, Amazon, Google, Target, you name it, major layoffs because, it's not just it's COVID, it's inflation, it's recession, it's all the above. So I have found that some of my best years in the business world have been in recessionary times because here's the negative, here's the pro and the con. The negative is it's a fear factor. Let's say you're a young lady and you're jumping this business or any business and your husband works for Google or Microsoft and you're scared he may get laid off. Well, you're kind of hesitant. You're not sure if you're going to bite the bullet. And that's kind of what we're seeing. So that fear in the marketplace is what's creating the recession. Now, half of it's real. Half is, inflation and rising costs and COVID. But really, it's 50% of the recession is the fear of people being scared to spend as much money. Let me think about it. Let me wait till things settle down. Let me be secure that my husband or wife, doesn't lose their job. So we got that element. But the good news, you guys, in this business, I've learned since day one, this is one of the few industries in the world that I think is recession-proof. I think food's recession-proof, groceries are recession-proof. I think Amazon will always be around and Whole Foods and things like that. Gasoline's recession-proof, fast food's recession-proof. You guys know what's recession-proof, the necessities, the essentials of life. Insurance companies, hospitals, recession-proof. There's always gonna be people sadly sick and having health issues. So the name of the game is to know that this industry, I'm taking a little bit of a hit, but very minimal. I mean, our revenues, I'd say the recession started hitting about 6 months ago. Maybe my revenues are down 10%, a little bit, not a big number, not like 50, 80 or 90%. And 10% is like, it's a bleep in the wall. It's not a big deal. But what happens, you guys, is even in tough times like this, in the beauty world, people thinking, shit, what if I get laid off? I gotta go shop for another job, looking at different things. And gosh, I gotta look good for that interview. I better get my hair cut or maybe do my lashes or get some Botox or lasers. And because, what if I need a job? What if I get fired? So your game face is on. You're thinking, how can I get the best possible image, appearance, and spruce up your interviewing game. So I've found that sometimes in a business like this, in the long run, initially it'll be a little rocky, but in the long run, actually it benefits people. Now, if you guys were in plastic surgeons, I'd say you're in the wrong business, because right now they're taking a hit. The ticket's so big. You're talking $10,000 to $20,000. Luckily, our tickets in aesthetic medicine, injections, and technology is not, $10,000, $20,000. It's $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever it may be. So the price point, the ticket is low enough to be sustainable. So I actually think that we can use it to our advantage.
I have a question from Ruby Diane Bosher, who I've been talking to now. I'm working on her branding for her
Cool.
med spa. She asked, I'm an injector in RN and as well, and she's interested in e-charting and the cost of that.
There is a million different softwares out there. I know at National Laser, we do something called Aesthetic Record. They're a big brand out there. They're very recently cost. I know Louology, we're looking into. We have for those of you guys that don't know, Louology created a software, tons of time in development. It's a software called Revelana. It's a med spa software, because what exists is on the marketplace, for those of you guys that don't know, you can get really cheap softwares that cost whatever, $10, $15 a month just for scheduling, to book patients. And then there's these elaborate, crazy softwares that cost $600 to $1,000 a month, right? That's a little too expensive to get started. So we actually created a software called Revelana that's under $100 a month that has all the automations of marketing that everybody needs. You want to send out regular emails on a regular basis, but you don't want to sit there and manually do all these things and click on 50 clients' names. But you want it to be an automated process. So in our med spa software, we do exactly that, and we're integrating Aesthetic Record, the charting electronic system, into our med spa software. So at National Laser, there's many different ones out there. There's probably about 5 good ones out there, but Aesthetic Record would probably be the first one I'd explore, because they kind of get the kinks out. They've been around for a long time, and most people are pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, and based on cost, we found that Aesthetic Record is the best for an EMR out of anything that we found. It's only $200 plus $16 a month. And like he said, we have it integrated with Revelana. So if you sign up for full service Revelana, we take care of all that for you and set it all up. So that's the second.
Yep. And when Marissa's saying full service, those guys that are new to us, we created Louology about a year ago to be a resource initially. We actually dropped about $300,000 creating 30 amazing videos. And at first we're thinking, okay, let's get into like a membership business model, like a gym, have people pay us whatever, $50 a month to get access to all these videos we continuously create. But then as we evolve, we realize that, okay, let's change this up a little bit. Let's do a free membership access for Louology, give people a handful of videos for free, all kinds of free resources. If they want to become a full access member, it's a one-time fee of like $69 for life. Obviously, I don't make any money off $69, you guys, but I do that because I like people that have skin in the game. I've found in the business world, when people have skin in the game, even if it's $5 or $100 one time, for some reason, they make more of an effort to pursue it. Where if everything's just kind of free, they don't put a dime in. It's like the people that come to National Laser, they're investing, not in National Laser, not in the marketplace, they're investing in themselves. And because they spent money, they're more apt to go out there and start a business, get a job. But when you do things that don't cost money, it's like, there's no rush. I'll get to it a couple years from now when it's the right time. So that's what we have. So on Louology, we've got full access membership where we are launching a whole bunch of fun things there, and then a free access as well.
I just want to let Kisona know in the chat. She said, "Can you send me the protocol checklist for Arizona?" We've created this. Email us at ask@louology.com and we'll send you that. I actually don't have a name for this one, but it is a full access and support member. They said, as I encounter the normal ups and downs of getting everything together to launch my own business, I feel so disconnected from my training. I watch videos and practice on my face model. Do you have any suggestions to stay charged with confidence that they'll be the injector?
Yeah, how do you keep your skills fresh while you're getting rolling? I mean, let's say there's a month or 3 months downtime. The best thing to do is to practice on family and friends before you're rocking and rolling and got the business moving and grooving. And any family friends, have them come in for cost of product. Like Botox, for example, cost me $6 plus a unit. Or there's dermal filler syringes like Versa that cost me $150 a syringe. I mean, just get some friends, family come in and practice on at your cost of product. And then also, I'm a big fan of online education to refresh as well. If you've gone to National Laser before and you like some of our on-demand videos, we've got all kinds. We're actually refilming them now. We're actually investing about $100,000 in the next 2 months refilming our existing videos, because during COVID, we had all these Zoom things going on because the world stopped. So we kind of recorded our Zoom. So they're not the best videos in the world because, it's just like, it was half-assed. It wasn't like it was just recording to Zoom. So we're actually now doing the, professional cameramans and makeup artists and sound quality and amazing. But if anybody wants access to those videos, you're welcome. Just hit me up on Instagram at Louis the Laser Guy, LOUIS, Louis Laser Guy. I'll happily send you the on-demand videos. You got injectable ones and laser ones, and that'll kind of keep the science, physics, safety stuff kind of front of mind and fresh.
Yeah, and we also have some of those videos available in the Louology resources. So if you're a full access member, you can access those. Dennis Tomaz says, how would you address a client that is asking for a technique that you're not ready to perform as a new injector / business owner?
So I'll tell you an interesting story. So one of my favorite injectors, she worked for me for 9 years, started her own business. She actually made over $400,000 last year. When she worked for me, I think before she left, she was making 135 grand a year for me, and she's making 400 grand a year. Not one time in the 9 years she worked for me did she do tear troughs under the eyes, because she was just scared for the risk. And people would ask us all the time, hey, they'd ask her, hey, can I get some tear troughs done? And she would really just tell them the truth. Hey, this isn't something I've spent a lot of time on yet, because it's a higher risk procedure. And I'm all about safety. If you want that high risk procedure, maybe I can turn you on to somebody who's done that procedure for years. But that's usually the reason. Usually it's not so much you don't know the technique. It's usually safety, because the techniques are pretty easy to come by. You guys, you can literally Google it or YouTube anything. Like, for example, they'll tell you, okay, if you do a lip pop, you do a couple units in this location, boom, done. You could have never done a treatment in your life, you guys, and do a successful lip pop, or just any of those things. Really, just like any of those things. It just, the techniques isn't the hardest part. The hardest part is the safety conversations, because a lot of clients, put it in my nose, put it in my temples, put it in my tear troughs. And we once upon a time used to train in all the high risk areas like noses and tear troughs and temples, and I refuse to do it anymore because I've seen so much problems and issues. And you really have to know your anatomy really, really well, and you have to be injecting a long time. I'd say not a long time, but I'd say at least a year or two before you get into something like tear troughs and temples. And then I'd say a couple years plus if you ever want to do noses. But I would not. I refuse to ever do noses, because I've seen some horror stories that would blow your mind. People like faces getting destroyed where there's just like one block. What do you call it? Necrosis, whatever you call it. Literally, it's like the size of a football in somebody's face for life, and just their nose dwindles away. It's like it's not even there. So I've seen some rough stuff. So personally, I would never recommend the noses. But as you evolve, I would recommend the things like the tear troughs, the temples, and the other off-label things. But people do different fillers, you guys, on feet. Is that crazy? They do different fillers on the feet, and they do on earlobes, and all these funky off-label areas that are pretty simple to inject. For hyperhidrosis, how many of you guys have thought about that? But hyperhidrosis is a very popular treatment. I've done that a handful of times, whereas it's a lot of units. I think I did 50 units under each arm, so 100 units of Botox. So the cost alone is $600 to the provider, and you sell it for whatever $1,000. It takes you maybe 15 minutes or whatever. You make $500-600 profit. So, and that's so easy. I mean, that's like, it's like, oh my God, there's things like that you've never done before that are really, really easy.
I have a question along those lines. Have you seen any interesting injection areas that are like kind of strange like that, or that are kind of trending currently?
What is trending? That's a good question. I would say the fastest growing segment of our marketplace and what's trending, and I would say only 10% of the injectors in the United States are doing it, is PDO threads. It's actually my favorite treatment. I actually did it a week ago. My face is still a little sore where they did them. It's called barbs and smooths. The barbs kind of hook onto you. I can't remember, it's muscles or ligaments, whatever, they hook onto something in your face, and they literally give it like a little bit of a lift. Like if you're getting a downturn in your mouth, it'll lift it. And then the smooths are just kind of little mini ones that kind of build the collagen. But I would say that's the fastest growing segment of our world and the most lucrative. More medical providers are making money with PDO threads, literally like 5 to 1 over fillers and Botox and everything else. It's an amazing treatment, you guys. And I feel like it's so safe. I mean, we were like kind of pioneers in training on this years ago, but so what can go wrong will go wrong when you're first starting. And so we learned the hard way that shit, if you go too superficial, you're going to see like a thread coming out of somebody's face. If you go too deep, there's a risk of an infection and got to give them some antibiotics, blah, blah. So, but really, those are the worst things I've seen. I haven't seen anybody die from any injections, but I have seen some funky looking threads showing through the face, which we go in there. Now we can actually pull them out, but it kind of hurts. So rather than pulling them out, you can take an energy-based device like radio frequency, and it kind of melts it down. And if somebody gets an infection, it's not a big deal. You just give them some antibiotics. But I think it's a very low-risk procedure. Client satisfaction is amazing. It's not just face, you guys. We're lifting people's booties and breasts. And my assistant just did her tummy. Got an amazing result. And so, I mean, if you are considering what else do you want to add to your repertoire other than just basic Botox, fillers, lasers. I mean, that would be something I'd look into. I think it's a winner.
Cool. Okay, here's a quick one from the chat. Is it safe to use Botox and filler with pregnant/breastfeeding women?
So nobody knows because the manufacturers didn't want to do the clinical studies. God forbid they killed a baby, I guess, or something like that. So nobody has the answer to that question. So most places, including ours, we just pass on that. If somebody's, going through that phase of life, but nobody knows. I wish we knew the answer. So I would say 95% of the practices out there will not treat somebody during that because it's just an unknown. It's an unknown. I wish, I don't know. I guess it's hard to recruit people for clinical studies when, there's a risk I could hurt my baby. That's not something you're gonna be running to. But if you got diabetes or Alzheimer's, there's a potential drug that can cure it. You're gonna take that risk with some side effects, but not if it's gonna kill a unborn baby, which I don't think it would. I'm just saying, that's the mindset of probably why they haven't done the studies.
I liked this question in the chat. This is from Hanson. Tips on building a resume when going from owning a business to seeking employment with a doctor's office. Writing down all my experience, accolades, client successes, but not getting any hits.
So 2 things. Number 1, for those of you guys that are searching for jobs, Google Marissa Myers, CEO of Yahoo, resume. Just like Marissa Myers, CEO of Yahoo resume. She's got an amazing format. It's clean, it's simple, and it's got a nice personal touch. The mistake people make with their resumes, you guys, is we all put, all of our jobs, and it's all businessy. It's not that engaging or entertaining, but she talks about her favorite pastime is, baking cupcakes and blah, 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 blah. It's got a nice personal touch. So I love that. But we live in a digital world now. So I always tell people, if you're looking for a job, you're sending out resumes, you're hurting yourself. I mean, I get probably 300 resumes a month from across the United States. I open 0. But about 7 years ago, I'll never forget this. No, it was 7 years. It was like 5 years ago. I got an email in the subject line that said, "Hey, Lewis, love to work for you. Check out my 30-second video." I'm okay. That was interesting. And I hit play and I watched the 30-second video, and she had such a nice charm and charisma that I invited her to come in for an interview, even though I wasn't hiring at the time. I'd already hired somebody at the time. And she came in, and I loved her vibe so much in person. I actually hired her and I created a position for her because of a video resume. So I think that if anybody's gonna be sending out resumes, you have to have a video one attached, because we live in that world. I remember Robin Williams, the famous comedian, was one of my neighbors growing up, you guys, and I'll never forget the day when I guess it was suicide, whatever it was. He had major mental health issues and things like that. And I remember racing online and going to Yahoo or whatever it was, and I'm thinking, okay, let me read all the articles about it. I didn't read one article. I clicked on a couple of videos of Robin Williams, best interviews on Jay Leno and David Letterman, things like this. We just live in a digital world, so anytime that you have an option to use technology first. So say something like that in the subject line. Hey, I'd love to be a nurse injector for you or laser tech for you, blah, blah, blah. Check out my quick video. Put a video in there, front and center, and then below it, have the resume, below it. If you're camera shy like me, and if you're introverted like me, and you like being on camera and you get all anxious, then what I recommend you do is you have a family or friend take the videos of you. You may have to shoot 20 of them until you find one you like, but it's no big deal. You're just kind of practicing in front of family and friends. Then you finally find one that you like. Oh, I sound good. I sound enthusiastic. I sound passionate. I mentioned some nice things, and then obviously, then you're good to go.
Awesome. We have Pamela in the chat. She has her hand up. So if you want to unmute, okay.
I'm at the other end, Lou. We are trying to hire great injectors. I see a lot of good resumes, but I see no commitment. I don't see the confidence, and I don't see a long-term commitment. And they definitely don't know how to do consults, even if they know how to inject. How do I sort through that?
Well, there's 2 types of people. There's hiring an experienced injector and hiring a new nurse on the block, let's say, right? So it depends on which avenue you're gonna go. If you want to hire an experienced injector, the first thing I would do is contact the vendors, contact Allergan and contact Galderma. They always know people, who are hot shots or looking for a job. If you're looking for the new kids on the block, we're a good resource because we obviously train thousands and thousands of people. But I'd say the way you're going to find somebody who's going to be good on the consult and things like that, which is, definitely important. It's just personality. It doesn't matter if they've ever injected before. It just, when you interview them, just do a quick FaceTime Zoom. And if the first 60 seconds, they're extroverted, they're asking you questions, they're smiling, they're happy, enthusiastic, most likely they'll learn how to do a consult pretty well. So it's more just you got to look for the communication skills. That's really what it comes down. You can't train somebody on a personality. You can train them on the services and products and what to sell and the prices, the packages, the deals, and the benefit you're going to give them. But you can't. I wish I could create a boot camp for charisma, charm, and personalities, but it doesn't exist. So you just got to be. You ask yourself the first 2 minutes on that call or interview, would you want to be their friend? Would you want to hang out with them? Are they a little bit of a talker? Because I find that the best consulters are people who have the gift of gab and kind of can just talk to themselves for an hour, or go to a bar and talk to a stranger and just yak.
That's probably you, right?
Maybe.
Annalisa asked, she said, practicing on friends and family is great, but how do I get the product?
Okay, so to get the product, you have to first get a doctor to sign a piece of paper to be a medical director. If you have a friend that's a doctor, they may even do it for free. They may, or maybe you hook up, maybe you treat their family for free, whatever. I've seen free deals before. I've seen people pay $400 a month, $600 a month. I've seen big locations pay $1,000 a month. So you have to get the doctor to sign a piece of paper, medical director agreement. You take that agreement, you send in the doctor's license to Allergan, Galderma, and then you can order all the products moving forward, and you have permission to use the doctor's license. But it has to be a quote unquote medical director, which is MD or DO in every state in the country. Some states, it's growing. NPs, nurse practitioners, it's growing in Arizona and probably about 7 states right now. And so it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Let's pull another one from the chat. Let's see. What do you think? How do you feel about Luminous Tri-Lift?
Ooh, we are bringing it in. It looks way cool. I haven't personally experienced it as far as the treatment goes, but it looks way, way cool. It's basically sorry, let me change my phone here. It is basically a vehicle to truly lift your face. Just like we're doing the PDO threads, but using technology. And I've heard there's amazing results. I would explore it. It's an expensive device. Anything something new and exciting, they're first to market, they're always going to charge more. It's kind of like I took an Uber in Florida today, and the Uber driver had the Tesla X. The one that the doors open sideways are really cool. And I'm thinking to myself, how can an Uber driver, afford a Tesla X? But he bought it used for like $40,000 or something like that. But it's cool stuff. Oh my gosh, just lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? Marissa, what was the question again?
Luminous Tri-Lift.
Tri-Lift. I'm sorry. So just like when that first came out, that car, $10,000. Now Tesla's dropping their prices by 20%. The other manufacturers. So anytime something's been in the market for a year, the price comes down. Any type of technology, not injections, but technology. So I think if you bought it now, you're going to spend $200,000. You wait a year, it's going to be $100,000, and in 3 years, it's going to be $80,000. So, if it's an expensive purchase like that, you got to either have investors or deep pockets or be 1,000% sold that this is going to be a game changer for you. But it looks like an amazing device. We're actually bringing in, I think next month, we're starting to do some advanced laser classes and latest and greatest technologies like that, and the tummy tightening devices and fun things like that. But I've heard good things. I've heard really good things.
I have a full access and mentor support member that asked a question, and I'm going to answer it. He asked, is your EMR Revlana compatible with iOS, iPads, etc.? Do you have an app? Are you able to send pre and post consents? I just want to say Revlana is not an EMR. It's a software system. So for workflows, automations, all that kind of stuff, we are integrated with Aesthetic Record. So if you use Aesthetic Record, anything that you can do on there, you can do through Revlana. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, and the reason you could also use Aesthetic Record as your med spa software too, but we weren't a big fan of that. We're just not a huge fan of that. We like them for the electronic charting and things like that. But I think there's a lot better med spa softwares out there, whether it's Revlana or anything else out there. I think there's a lot better categories to pick from there. But Aesthetic Record is kind of the gold standard in the industry right now to integrate into whatever med spa software you use.
All right. Let's see here. We have another hand up in the chat, Stephanie. So Stephanie, if you want to unmute yourself, feel free.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get into aesthetics and injecting for at least like 2 years now. I finally got into a thing. I took a class. They hired me, but they're a concierge service. And basically they're like, yeah, we love you. You're great. But now you have to sell yourself. So of course I have Instagram like everybody else. Like I don't like live under a rock, but like how do I get out there and like like promote myself to the point where, because it's like it basically is commission based. Like, how do I go out there and just be like, hey, like I'm your neighborhood injector, let's be best friends? Like, how do I do that?
I would say there's no such thing, obviously, as a quick way to market or a fast buck. But I would say, if I was in your shoes, there'd be three things I'd focus on. Number one, like you mentioned, the social media, and having an Instagram account or Facebook account is not enough. You have to know how to work it. There's a free video on Louology. It's an amazing 17-minute video. It kind of shows you how we do millions and millions in sales every year. I kind of break down every step, and where people really get it wrong, you guys. Well, think about this for a second. Let's say you want to get Botox for the first time in your life. And nowadays, as you probably know, you guys, business cards are obsolete. There is no business cards anywhere. Our business card now is our Instagram or Facebook profile. And then on your profile, maybe you've got 20 posts up there, videos or pictures. Those should be the ones that represent who you are, what you do. Okay. So that's kind of our new age business card. The mistake people make. So you're going to get Botox treatment for the first time in your life. Let's pretend you're not in the business. And you get referred to like 5 different injectors, and you check out their Instagrams, right? And they've got these amazing before and after pictures, like thousands and thousands of before and after pictures. So you pick one and you go with them, you get a great treatment. Well, you're probably never going to go to their Instagram again, ever, because you know what it is. It's just 1,000 before and after pictures. You know, it's pretty lips and wrinkles gone. So really that has no value to me. Now you got to have your before and afters and testimonials and business pictures there, because people have to know what you do, of course. But I think that shouldn't be more than 60% of what's on your social media. The other 40% needs to be a personal touch. So imagine you get Botox from somebody, and then all of a sudden you see that their boyfriend proposed to them in front of the Eiffel Tower, and they post that story. Like, that's kind of cool. Or maybe they're starting a medical marijuana international business. They're selling cannabis brownies. And that's kind of intriguing. You're interested, right? So now all of a sudden you are paying attention to their post because it's engaging, it's personal. So if you look at my profile on Instagram at Louis the Laser Guy, you're gonna notice that probably 70% of my posts really aren't aesthetics or aesthetic medicine or lasers or technology. There's probably 35% that are. But what I do, my posts are my golden doodle, my kids, and a lot of motivational, inspirational talks I do, because that's my passion. That's my hobby. That's my love. My love is inspiration, motivation, family, dogs, and that kind of thing. And in doing so, that's when my business really took off personally on Instagram. My Instagram, I think I got, I don't know, I started 2 years before COVID, so maybe 2015, so maybe 7-8 years ago. I think I got, I don't know, like 12,000 followers live. So a lot of followers, not a zillion. But what's interesting is that 80% of the money I make from that, when I say make money, people ask me questions. Hey, Louis, how much does Botox cost? Or how much does a training course cost? Whatever, business questions that you can have. 80% of them come through a motivational, inspirational video. Go, oh my gosh, Louis, I love what you said. And I believe that too, that if you can believe it, you can achieve it. If you can dream, you can do it. And I love that quote. I love that video. And then, oh, by the way, Louis, how much is that? If I come in for a hair removal, how much does that cost again? So the key to social media is getting personal. Not personal like, oh shit, I just divorced my husband, or somebody in my family's sick. Not that personal. But your passions, your hobbies, your love. So hiking, biking, skiing, cooking, whatever it is, integrate a lot of that, and you'll find your social media will grow much, much faster, because your vibe attacks your tribe. And if you're posting a lot of skiing pictures, because you ski every single weekend because you live somewhere, snow country, Utah, then other people love to ski. They're going to start paying attention. They're going to start following you, and you're going to make money off those people. So social media, number one, and you really got to do at least a minimum of 2 stories a day. I'd say a low of 2 and a high of 10. I'd say that's probably the best traction you're going to get. So once you're rolling with social media, then as I mentioned before, that I kind of built my career off SEO, search engine optimization. The good news is, you guys, this is free. This does not cost any money. So what you do, and you guys might want to write this down because it's really important. If you just go to google.com later, there's a section called AdWords, ADWRDS. There's a free tool there that tells you what people are searching for. So you put in your phrase of interest. So let's say your interest is, laser hair removal or Botox or whatever it is, right? So you put a word like Botox, it'll spit out like 10,000 phrases that people typed in the last 30 days. Like, how much does Botox cost? Where can I find a nurse provider that does Botox near me? Can I get a droopy eye from Botox? Blah, blah, and all these phrases. And now what they want you to do, they want you to spend money and bid on those in top position. Here's how I built the 6 most visited website. I didn't bid on anything. I didn't spend any money. I took the phrases that I knew people were searching for and integrated those back in 1999 in my domain name. And that worked for a while, but then it stopped working because the search engines, they said, no, we're not gonna let you do this anymore. But then now we take the same phrases and we integrate it into our content. So on your website, you got, let's say, a Botox page. on your Botox page, let me give you an example. I probably have 50 Botox pages. And I know that, okay, each one of my pages will have 3 of those phrases that I know people are looking for. So, how much does Botox cost? Where can I get Botox? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll write some content, or my team will write some content, maybe I don't know, maybe it's 500 to 1,000 words, right? And you do that phrase people are looking for verbatim 3 times in the page, okay? But it's got to flow with the content. And then what happens is Google says, wait a minute, you're relevant. You're showing what people are looking for. And all of a sudden people start calling you and messaging you. So this isn't rocket science. I wrote a book on it. It still works today. Don't buy my book though, because half of it isn't relevant. Technology changes so fast. I tell people not to buy my book because it's kind of like me saying to you, oh, you'd love the iPhone 3. When do you go buy one? Like, really? Who's going to get an iPhone 3? You got your 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever it is. So we got to see up with the times. But so number 2 would be the SEO. Number 3, I get rolling with friends and family. Find a group of girlfriends or guy friends. And maybe it's a PTA moms group. Maybe it's a hiking group, biking group. Throw a little Botox party at work. Invite 10 people there and maybe give away. I'll do a raffle for free Botox and prizes there. And anybody who wants to do injections that night can get a discounted price. And then, that's the way Pampered Chef, you guys built a $300 million company. They had these Tupperware parties where they do free wine and cheese and food. And, they talk about their stuff and they're doing $300 million a year. One of my friends does part-time Pampered Chef. She did it for years. She was making like 80 to 100 grand a year, just doing part-time, like 15 hours a week, doing exactly that concept. So I think the happy hour, the party concept is really good. We used to do those in person for years and years and years. We made a couple $1 million a year doing that. And I got the vendors, I got the Allergans of the world just to pay for my food and drinks and things like that because they want the exposure. They want, and now we do them online on Zoom because we're in a digital world and we do them on Zoom. And even though I like personally doing them better in person because I like getting on a microphone and live and being in front of people, but online we get 250, 300 people. In person, we got 80 people. So obviously I'd be a fool to do them in person, even though I like doing better because everybody's in a digital world now. So those would be the first 3 things I would start with if I'm just kind of building my own personal brand and trying to get clients if I'm on a commission deal. And I love commission deals, you guys. You can always make really good money. Depending on the commission, I think a competitive number of commission only is probably low 30 to high 40% of the profit. Profit meaning if you sold some fillers for $1,000 and it costs you $500 and there's $500 gross profit, you're making 40%. You made $200 for that provider. That's a win-win for the company. But any business that pays more than 40%, they're not going to make much money. So they're probably not going to do it. But yeah. So anyways.
Okay. We have a question again from Annalisa. She asked, if I have a doctor in Arizona willing to be a medical director, can she inject in Colorado and New Mexico as well? What is their obligation?
The obligation for medical directors, they have to have an active license in the state that you are doing business in. That's all that matters. What they do, other than that, doesn't matter. They just, wherever your facility or facilities are, you have to have a doc that has an active license in that state. And you'd be shocked how many people don't have active licenses that are retired or moved here from a different country. There's a lot of that out there.
Okay, I have a full access question. What is the best way to start a business? Should I save or get a loan? If I should save, what amount should I start with?
Ooh, great question. That was the exact question I asked myself 19 years ago when I started my med spa called Physician Skin Institute. I thought to myself, how much money do I need to get this rolling? And I had a nice success story with my internet marketing. So I started with a big budget. I started with, I think it was $300,000 because I had some savings in the bank because of my business. But I would say because of social media nowadays, I kid you not. I think people can really bootstrap it and probably start a business for, initially get the doors open for 10 grand, maybe 15 max. And then the biggest expense, you guys, in growing a business, it's not your rent. It's not your, labor. It's really your marketing costs. Your marketing, your working capital. So working capital means, okay, the money that's in your piggy bank to pay for the bills while you're growing and building the business because you're going to be losing money. So let's say you open up a business and your first month you lose $5,000 because you're just getting rolling. Then the second month you lose 4,000 and 3,000, 2,000. And all of a sudden you turn the corner and then you become profitable. So you have to have enough money in the bank to sustain yourself, to pay the bills and feed the kids and eat while you're growing the business. So try to do some homework and ask yourself, okay, how long before it's going to be to turn the corner? And let's say you think, I'm just going to throw out a number. Let's say you think it's going to be 6 months before you turn the corner. Well, if you think it's gonna be 6 months, I recommend that in your piggy bank, you put aside 12 months worth. If you think it's gonna be 3 months, put aside 6 months, because this is a statistic by the SBA. I think it's like 90% of all small businesses in the United States fail in the first year because they were undercapitalized, which means they didn't have enough money in their piggy bank for the rainy days and getting rolling. So, I mean, I don't think, I mean, I got nurse friends, you guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally. Well, the friend I gave you the example of who's making 400 grand now, she's had her own business worked for me for 9 years, had her own business for, I think she's in her 4th year. And she started renting a room somewhere for, I think, $750 a month. She did everything. She took the calls, the emails, the texts, and she provided the treatment. So very low overhead. I mean, and granted, she probably had miscellaneous this and that. So maybe her overhead was, I'm just guessing, $1,500 a month, maybe 2,000 maximum. So let's say your overhead is $2,000 a month. And let's say the average customer spends $1,000 in injections or whatever. And let's say you make $500, right? You'd only need 4 clients a month to pay the bills. Interesting, huh? 4 clients a month to cover that net. And so that could be your side hustle. While you're working your other job, maybe you're a medical professional, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a laser tech, you're waiting on tables, whatever you're doing. Don't quit the day job, but you can start your own business on a shoestring budget. Then once you start seeing some traction, once you turn the corner and start making money, then you can decide, okay, am I going to walk away from this other business? Am I going to fade it out and keep it part-time or whatever works for you?
All right, we have another question I think is interesting. It's, do you have any creative ideas for discounts or deals to get people to come into your med spa?
Yes, and I learned the hard way. First off, don't do Groupon. Groupon is amazing for the consumer. Man, if you want a cheap massage or a cheap Botox, yeah, go on there as a consumer, but not as a business owner, because the whole concept is, oh, let me get something in for a cheap deal where, like, the way it is. So let's say you normally charge $500 for Botox. Well, you're giving away now for $300 and you split it, you split the revenue or 60-40 with Groupon. And the goal is, well, if you didn't really make any money or you lost money in the first client, we call it a lost leader in business. So for example, McDonald's advertise sometimes, hopefully you don't eat there, but they advertise these 99-cent hamburgers. I promise you, they're not making money off a 99-cent hamburger. It's a lost leader. They know they're going to lose their ass, but their goal is when you go there, you're going to supersize it to a Big Mac. You're going to buy the fries, the Cokes, and that's what they're going to make their money. And so they're going to get you on the repeat business, right? And the upsell. So I found through my own personal experience and talking to a million people that 95% of people who come in for a Groupon treatment will not come back to you no matter how amazing you are, because they've got this culture. They've been trained to deal shop. Let me find the next cheapest massage and next cheapest haircut, whatever. So what I like to do is, rather than giving a discount or a deal, because you always see these deals, buy one, get one free, 50% off, special sale, blah, blah. But I think the better way to do it is you always maintain your price point. So let's say for a laser skin rejuvenation treatment, you're charging $500, or a Botox, you're charging $500. Don't ever drop that price, but give them so much added value that they want to come to you, even if somewhere down the street they're going to get it for $400. So what might be added value? So let's say you're charging $500 for Botox, but in your facility, somebody's doing laser hair removal, and you offer them maybe 6 free treatments worth like $1,000 or $1,200 if they come and get Botox. And now you're still getting the $500. It has a value to them of shit like $1,500. But it costs you next to nothing, because each treatment takes 10 minutes. There's no cost to doing the treatment other than the provider's time, which maybe if it's half an hour and you're paying them $20 an hour, maybe it's $10. So it costs you $10 each time. So basically you're giving away $10 times 6. You're giving away $60, okay, to get the 500. So your net is maybe $440. But now you've got loyalty, because you have somebody coming back to you every single month for something else. And then from there, you're in front of them. So you can offer them different things and kind of build loyalty and build a clientele. So I'm a big fan of never dropping your price point, but offering things of added value. So for example, I created a skincare line, which is freaking amazing, and called Louology. It's going to be a $1 zillion company one day. We spent a year developing these products. I'm so excited about it, but they're so cheap for me to make. It cost me like my cleanser cost me $7, and I sell it for $45. My hyaluronic acid cost me $10. I sell it for $100. Etc. Margins are amazing. So now people come in and we give them a $50 cleanser, and it only cost me $7. So think of what you can do to add value, whether it's, usually it's in the form of some kind of freebies, and then other people add value by I've seen people bake brownies for their clients before and walk them to the parking lot and give them a hug and a kiss on the cheek goodbye, like they do in France, a little kiss on each cheek. And so whatever you can do, you have to have an angle. in business, you have to have an angle. And the best example in the world is McDonald's, you guys. Do you know the angle? If you think you know the angle McDonald's has, if you think you know why McDonald's is the largest fast food company in the world, tell me in the chat box right now, what's McDonald's point of difference? What's their angle? If you think you know the first person to get it right, I'm going to send you $200 of my Lume skincare line. So I'll give you a cleanser, moisturizer, and eye cream and hyaluronic acid. First person in the chat box to tell me, how did McDonald's build this empire? What's their point of difference? Yes, whoever said kids is the right answer. But to clarify, McDonald's created the Happy Meal, and inside the Happy Meal is a toy, and it changes every few months. Superman toy, Buzz Lightyear toy, Spider-Man toy, and they built an empire off the kids screaming on their parents, "I want the toy! I want the toy!" No, actually, my kids would say, "Dad, I want to go to McDonald's. I want to go to McDonald's," but then they wouldn't even eat the hamburger. They'd throw it in the side of the car, mushed up. I'd smell it all moldy a week later because they wanted the freaking toy. So McDonald's built an empire, you guys, off a toy. Off a toy. That's their angle. That and real estate, of course, is number two. Clinique is the largest skincare company in the United States of America. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they take out full-page ads in newspapers. They say, come buy our $30 cleanser. We're going to give you a gift basket of $100 of free skincare. It's like, whoa, that's a hell of a point of difference. Coca-Cola, largest drink company in the world. They own everything. They own Dasani now and Tropicana. Their angle, their point of difference is they now have drinks where 0-calorie Coke, 0-carb Coke. Drink Coke and lose weight. Or, vanilla Coke and cherry Coke. And so they're not really selling Coke. They're selling weight loss now for their things, which is a bullshit, but that's what they're selling, right? So again, all the biggest corporations in the world, they've got their angle. They got their special sauce. And you got to think of, okay, what's going to be your angle in this business? And there's a million things you can do, but yeah, you can't, it's not enough, you guys. I always tell people, when I travel around the world and do marketing talks, I always tell people, if you got the best products, best services, best prices, best location, best bedside manner, that's enough to have a nice living and get by. That's not enough to be the 80-20 rule. They say 80-20. So 20% of the real estate agents in the world are making 80% of the money. They're just killing it. Right? So, and they're doing it because of that reason. They found their angle. They found their special sauce. So it's not enough to be the best what you do, because there's a lot of people out there. I can get great Botox, great location, great prices, but that's not going to create loyalty to me. Loyalty to me is somebody doing something that is special and stands out and is memorable. And you guys, a quick 30-second lesson on how to create private label skincare. 2 ways to do it. You can contact the most reputable private label manufacturers. Say, hey, do you have any off-the-shelf formulas you guys have created that I can try and slap my label on? And everyone has these. They'll have, 5 cleansers and 5 moisturizers and 5 this and 5 that. You try them out. You find the one that you fall in love with. And then it's not about you, though. It's about your customers. So try to get maybe 10 friends to try it out, too, and make sure they all love it, right? So, once they love it, then you slap your label and start selling. That's the cheapest way to do it, because you can order like 10 at a time or 20 at a time. Or you can do the way I do it and get crazy and you find your favorite products in the world, go to a scientist that creates these products and reverse engineer it and say, I want you to figure out all the ingredients, the percentage of the ingredients, how much green tea extract, how much vitamin C, blah, blah, blah. And then they give you the formulas and you go. And so basically, we did this for 9 straight months. And I failed for 9 straight months. Finally, I got it right, and everybody was loving it. And then once I knew everybody loved this one cleanser, one moisturizer, one HA, then we took 15 estheticians that specialized in skincare, and we said, oh, here's a couple more private label products we're trying out too. Here's like our 5 favorite ones. What do you guys like? What I did tell them, that's kind of bullshitted them, I took the 4 biggest brands in the United States of America, Skin Medica and Zeo, and all these famous skincare products. I put them in these little sample things, so they would actually be testing the product I liked against the biggest brands in the world. 15 out of 15 people liked our products better than the biggest brands in the world. That's when I knew how to win it. It's the process, but that's you. So you have A or B, right? Now my game is different. Most of you guys will probably just be, retailing products. I don't want to be in the retail game. I want to be in the wholesale distribution game. So obviously we see thousands and thousands of people like you guys that are looking for skincare products. So obviously my goal, vision, dream is for, a lot of our attendees and graduates from National Asia to say, hey, you can some big brand that's been out for 10 years and pay $20 for it and sell for 40, or you can get the Lume product line and pay 15 and sell for 40. And so that's my goal. My goal is to kind of be more of a distributor, but for you guys, it's gonna be probably more of a retailer, I guess,
So Consuela asked something at the beginning and I kind of skipped over it, but I'm going to go back to it because she put it in the chat. They're planning on remodeling their 2017 1-bedroom camper into a mobile med spa. Do you think it's a good idea business-wise?
Would you ever consider getting a Botox treatment, you guys, in a mobile thing? I personally won't, but I'm not the customer. So if 70% of the people here are saying yes, then I'd say I'd look into it. But if it's not 70%, then I'd say no.
I
So
live in
again,
San Antonio. I live in San Antonio, Texas, and right now that's like the hot thing is like you'll see like women's clinics and like Botox things like popping up everywhere that are mobile, and like that's the new thing
Interesting.
right now.
So I'm glad you pointed that out to me, because if it's becoming more common and mainstream where you live in San Antonio, then yeah, I'd be more likely to say, yeah, give it a whirl. But if it's, let's say, somewhere like Arizona where I haven't even seen it all yet, and it's so new and fresh, I think it'd take a lot of time and money to build. But if you're in a community where it's becoming more acceptable and more the norm, then it's worth considering. Yeah. So it's gonna
I
be
think
state by state, city by city.
I think also too, a big factor of it isn't so much that if it's mobile or not, it's how it looks and how it makes them feel, if they feel safe in it, if it's a nice vehicle.
Yeah, credible.
It's
Yeah,
similar to
credible.
having a really good lobby. Yeah, it's similar. If you have an ugly lobby, if your lobby's kind of creepy, people aren't going to feel as comfortable. So it's more about the vibe and what you provide in that way to make people feel comfortable versus, I think, whether it's mobile.
I mean, it's definitely a fun concept. I like it. I think it's gonna be a city by city thing. Yeah.
Well, we only have 1 minute left, so if you have any closing words that you want to say.
Yeah. And I saw a chat come up. Can I put my brand on the Lume product line? The answer is yes. We've actually gotten several requests for that. If you want to have build your own brand and basically let us be your manufacturer, yeah, we can happily have a conversation. So you guys, any other questions you guys have, just hit us up at ask at Louology.com, like ask a question, ask at Louology.com. The name of the game, you guys, is patience. And there's a zillion people in this industry that are freaking killing it. And they beat their head against the wall. They struggle. They had moments where I don't know if I can do this and blah, blah, blah. But the ones that stuck it out, maybe it took them 3 years, 4 years to get there. It's a different timeline for everybody. No regrets ever. It's always like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And I'm glad I went through the struggles because we all want a quick success and a quick buck, and myself included. It's just not the world we live in. So slow and steady wins the race.
Thank you, everyone. If you're not a full access member or even a member of Louology, make sure you join. Half of the questions that we went through today, we have those answers on Louology and our resources. We have medical directors, we have contracts, templates, insurance, protocol. So make sure you join. We'll see you next month, I hope.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great
First Wednesday of the
evening.
month. So thanks everyone for your questions.
Yeah, first Wednesday of every month. Bring your questions. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.